Welcome to this video on ratio, and to help us understand this I've got three GCSE questions here. Here's two of them on this page. One of the difficulties people have with these questions is knowing where to start and coming up with a strategy or a process to work through the information given. Alright, so we'll make a start on this one. And we have the number of boys to the number of girls are in the ratio 9 to 7 in a school. We're told that there are 116 more boys than girls. We've got to work out the total number of students at the school. Well, that's my starting point. I'm going to call that number there x. Okay, that's going to equal x. Okay, now I know that because the total number of students is made of girls and boys in the ratio, boys to girls in the ratio 9 to 7, that 9/16 of x is the total number of boys in the school, and 7/16 of x is the total number of girls. Okay, and the 16 comes from adding them together. All right. So, in other words, 9/16 and 7/16 makes all of them, which is 16/16. So I also know that if I take the number of boys, that's that number, and subtract the number of girls from that, I should get 116, because it tells me that in the question. Okay? Well, if you've got 9/16 of something and you take away 7/16, you've got 2/16 of it left. Okay, so I know that 2/16 of x is equal to 116. And if 2/16 of x is that is also 1/8 of x, or x over 8 equals 116. Okay, and there's only one more thing to do. Multiply both sides by 8. Okay, x equals 116 times 8. Put that onto the calculator or work it out if it's a non-calculator question, and you get that x equals 928 students. Okay, and that's it. If you had time and this was an exam question, at the end of the exam you would check that by splitting that up in the ratio 9 to 7 and seeing that it actually works. But it is right. Next question. We are now dealing with quite a difficult problem on the face of it. Okay, the densities of three metals A, B and C are in that ratio. Now, I've drawn this over here earlier to show you the relationship between density, mass and volume. Density is mass divided by volume. All right. The reason we're going to look at this is because if we considered the same volume of each of the three alloys, let's consider 1 cubic meter of each of the three alloys, then if the densities are in that ratio, then the masses would also be in the same ratio. So I'm going to rewrite this as the masses of A to B to C. Okay, so A to B to C densities are there. Okay, 1 cubic meter of B has a mass of 8,600. So a cubic meter of A would have 13/15 of 8,600. So the ratios of masses would be the same. So the masses of 1 kilogram, the masses of 1 cubic meter, right, would be as follows. Well, let's just write the ratios here. A, B and C like this. Okay, now the A is 13 15ths, okay, of that figure given, 8,600. So 13/15ths of 8,600. B is 8,600. And C, so a cubic meter of C would be 21/15ths of 8,600. Okay. And if you take that down below and actually work them out, the first one there comes to 7,453. 7,453.3 recurring, so it's a third. Okay. Now you'll notice that we're going to be working to 3 significant figures, so this is more than accurate enough for the time being. This is 8,600, and this number here, when you calculate that, comes to 12,040. Okay. So what I've done is I've kept those 3 numbers in the same ratio as these, but basically the middle one's been multiplied by, it's scaled up from 15 to 8,600, and the others have been scaled up proportionally. So I now know the mass of 1 cubic meter of each alloy, but I want 5 of these, okay, because I want the difference between 5 cubic meters of this and 3 of this. So what I need to do is 5 times 7,453.3 minus 3 times 12,040. Okay, and if I put that onto a calculator, okay, and take away 3 times 12,040, that gives me 1146.6 recurring. Okay, and that's the mass, or the difference in mass, between 5 cubic meters of A and 3 cubic meters of C, which is what we've got to find out. Okay, and that is equal to 1150 kilograms. Now we put the units in to 3 significant figures. Okay, and that's what we needed to present the final answer to. Okay, 3 significant figures, and there it is. Okay, so an unusual sort of question, but for ratio questions, there can be all sorts of different approaches that are necessary. Okay, and there are other ways you could have solved this, but that seems to me to be the best approach. Okay, there's one more question on the next page, and here it is. Okay, quite a lot to read here. This is worth 5 marks, by the way, and the previous question we've just done on density was also worth 5 marks. So you've got time in an exam to do them properly. The school trip, the ratio of teachers to students is 1 to 15. Now I'm going to define the number of teachers, okay, as X. Okay, and therefore the number of students as 15x. Okay, because it's 15 times more. So the total number of people is 16x. Okay, so total people, and it's worth just writing these things down as you go. Total people equals 16x. Okay, now you know that 15x of those are students, and they've got to be divided in the ratio 7 to 5. Okay, Now, if you're dividing them into the ratio 7 to 5, it means 7/12 of 15x are male and 5/12 of 15x are female. So female students the number of female students equals 5/12, and the 12 actually comes from 7 plus 5, so you could actually put that in your working, so you add the two parts of the ratio together, so 5/12 of 15x, and if you work that out, you get 75x over 12, 75x over 12. If you divide the numerator and denominator by 3, you get 25x over 4, That's the number of female students. But the question says, work out what percentage of all the people on the trip are female students. Well, we've said already that the total number of people on the trip is 16x, and the total number of female students is 25x over 4. So the percentage of female students, it's the percentage of people who are female students. So percentage of people who are female students, is going to be the number of female students, which is 25x over 4, divided by the total number of people, which is 16x, so it's a fraction within a fraction, I'm going to put that in a bracket around that at the top to make it a bit clearer, and that fraction has to be times by 100 to turn it into a percentage. All right, now the x's cancel, because 25x on the top, you're dividing the whole thing by 16x, so that is actually going to simplify to give you 25 over 64, because dividing by 4 and then by 16 is like dividing by 64. So it's 25 over 64 times 100. The x's have cancelled, to turn it into a percentage, you times by 100, and that comes to 39% to the nearest whole number. It's just over 39 on the calculator, I think. 39% to nearest whole number. Nearest integer. Or you could say two significant figures. But it was asked for as the nearest whole number. So we didn't actually need to work out the number of male students or anything, but you've just got to be really careful to get the quantities you need and isolate them from the rest of the information. I hope that was helpful, and take care.